Alright guys, here's our good buddy Dave Wishnowski from Pro Wrestling X. What's going on?
I am in the last 2 hours of our awesome Kickstarter campaign, just riding the wave right to the end, man, hanging out with everyone, thanking all the new people pledging to us, and just, having a good time.
Alright, so basically we brought Dave on the show tonight because we want to be able to help him out, and try to raise some funds, even though it's the last 2 hours, but you know what? We want to try to do our best. We all should actually went in and donated ourselves. And actually, we're going to keep donating every couple of weeks to try to help our good friend out here.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And you guys are in Miami, right?
We are actually in Orlando.
Well, I know for sure that there's got to be plenty of car trunks, at least within 2 blocks where you are, with tons of cash in the trunk somewhere that people can donate to us.
Yeah, that's right, buddy. It's got to come out from somewhere. All right, so let's begin this interview for tonight. Now, let's get started with. Now, you've been working on this game for 10 years. Now,
yes.
Tell us why a pro wrestling game?
Oh man, that's. I'll try to keep the answer really short, man. But basically, 10 years ago, they stopped making games that I really liked, and I wanted one that was better than they have. Someone dared me to make a game if I thought I could do better, so I said, fine, I will. I'll make my own wrestling game. That's how it started. Now, why do we keep going 10 years later? Well, lots of reasons, but mainly it's because we've gotten so close so many times, and through no fault of our own, we've been set back. Mm-hmm. And when you get so close to something and know you can do it, you just know you can do it, you just can't let yourself quit. You just can't. I mean, you have to keep trying until you get it done. And that's why 10 years later, here we are, trying until we get it done.
And what people don't know is we actually played the video that you put together a couple of days ago about your dad and the reason why you put the whole video together. And I wanted to do the Pro Wrestling X. And just in case some of you who missed it, want to give them a quick reason, the reason behind it all?
Well, growing up, I mean, I had a dad who worked really hard for a living. He really loved pro wrestling, and that's what he could have done. That's what he wanted to do. But he had a lot of family, obligations. He wanted to help. He quit school at a young age to work full time and help his mom and dad. And then, when he met my mom and I came along, he was in his prime, but he decided, I'm going to go and be a man, get a job, and take care of my family. So when he did have time, when he wasn't working, almost 7 days a week full time, we would always watch wrestling together. We always connected. That's the father-son time was over wrestling, watching it on TV or going to live wrestling events, and really it instilled that love of wrestling in me, and all my fondest memories growing up somehow have wrestling involved. And if I can somehow repay that and somehow make people happy by putting out a wrestling game, it'll pay a lot of respect and tribute to my dad who gave me that love of wrestling, and I know he would be happy knowing that we help spread wrestling to other people to help make them happy too.
Man, that's awesome. And, with this game being 10 years in the works, you guys are coming really close to being complete. And now this is only a beta, and we don't have an exact release date. We talked about it a little bit, but we're gonna leave that out for right now. However, when this game comes out, what's really gonna set this game apart from any other wrestling game that's ever been that's been released?
Well, really, what's going to set it apart from games that are out now, it's really going to remind people a lot of those classic Nintendo 64 games like No Mercy and that. I mean, it's not as big as those games, and it's definitely not bigger because we're just a small indie team, but just the way it plays, the way it feels, you punch, kick, grapple, throw people around, it really does feel like that, and that's a huge accomplishment for us. But another thing that's really great is we're making this game for the PC, for the personal computer, which means it's open. You can literally open up the folder with our game in it, rip apart the art content, take wrestlers' graphics and textures, throw them in Photoshop, do whatever you want, throw it back. It really gives wrestling gamers an opportunity to really have the freedom and power over creating their own kind of wrestling game that they've never really had to this extent before.
That's awesome, dude. And the reason why you're here tonight is, of course, is not to only promote Pro Wrestling X, but you're here to try to raise money for your project. Yeah. Now, tell us, what you guys? How much have you guys raised so far?
We have raised almost $22,000 so far, which, I mean, for an indie game studio like ours, and this is our first game, that's actually pretty good. That's pretty respectable.
Okay, and now I'm sorry, go ahead.
We are asking for We were asking for considerably more than that. We were looking for enough money to fund a full team for a year. And that's a big chunk of change. That's $75,000 that we were looking for. And with less than 2 hours to go in our campaign, it's going to take some really, really generous Orlando people to make that happen, man. But that was the call we made, man. And whether we make it or not, we are way better off today than we were a month ago. And we'll wake up tomorrow stronger, happier, better, and we'll be going forward with or without $75,000 in our back pocket.
Well, let's let the people know about some of the cool things you got going on right now. Like, for example, if they donate $50, what do they get?
They get to be in the next game. I mean, we have a roster of wrestlers that you need in a wrestling game, right? If you donate $50 to us, we'll let you be one of those wrestlers. I mean, we'll give you the spot in the game. If you want to put yourself in the game, great. If you would rather create your own awesome fantasy wrestling dude, put him in the game instead, whatever you want to do with that spot, we will give to you for pledging $50 to the game. People are really responding to that offer. It seems to be quite popular, so I'm glad we did it.
That's awesome. Now, what else besides the creating a wrestler, what else can they do to contribute? Because I know you got different levels of donations.
Oh yeah, you can donate, as little as $1, really. But I mean, depending on how much you want to pledge to us, we've got tons of cool rewards we can give to you. I mean, we have full downloadable newsletter, anthologies, PDF, art, books and whatnot. I guess you can be in the game. You can get t-shirts, box versions of the game. You can actually get custom-made Mexican Calacas folk art made by one of our crew members of characters in the game. If you donate enough money, he'll make one of you. I mean, there's actually a reward tier where Jesse Justice, who designed some of the championship belts you see on TNA around guys like Jeff Hardy, Jesse Justice designed those belts and works with the company that produces him. He will actually make you your very own championship wrestling belt, like a real one, a pro one, not a piece of vinyl and plastic. Mm-hmm. We're talking like a good 40-pound hunk of steel. So some really, really wicked cool rewards.
Now you got some really, really cool people working with you, and this has been a long road for you, and you've been busting your butt, and that's the reason why I got you on this show, because we like positive people who are doing positive things for everybody out there. You know what I'm saying? You rock. I gotta tell you, Dave, you rock. But we wanna know everybody behind the scenes that work with you, buddy. We know there's a long list. We want to know the wrestlers that are working with you behind the scenes, to your guys that does your graphics and all the good stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, the last man standing on this project, the crew, of course, you got myself, for better or for worse. We've got our web guy, Eric, which has been phenomenal. We call him our web guy, but it doesn't do him justice. He has been working so hard organizing this Kickstarter campaign with me, putting together the press releases, knocking on doors, trying to get stuff done. He actually went to a WWE event during the course of the campaign to try to hand out Pro Wrestling X fundraising flyers, and was politely asked to leave the venue by security for doing so. But
really?
So you got to give him credit for trying that, right? Wow. And then we've got our lead programmer, Dan, which has been working for nothing for the last few years, and in that time he's actually built a game engine, a wrestling game engine from the ground up for us. It's a major, major deal. And he's not exactly living like a king. This guy sits on the floor of his living room on a cushion, typing away on the laptop, working like a little mad scientist. He's been the key to us getting a game that we can put into people's hands. So he's been awesome. We've got Jesse Justice, an incredible illustrator and artist, again a belt designer and things like that. We've got a couple other people kind of in support roles helping us out. But yeah, I mean, wrestlers. We got we have the offer to help from Lance Storm, who's like former WWE, WCW, ECW, and he trains wrestlers right now out of Calgary. It's the holy land for wrestling in Canada, and he's kind of taken over for the Hart legacy here and started training guys out of Calgary, and he's offered to work with us on making really cool wrestling moves and animations for the game. I mean, the people that we've got working for us, we are so blessed. They are amazing and awesome, and everyone contributes to making this project infinitely better than any one person can do on their own.
Yeah, that's right, dude. And I'm gonna tell you, that's true dedication for somebody to volunteer their time for God knows how many years, how many hours, into such a game. And Dave, I wish you the best of luck, buddy. And we want to know. I mean, right now you're in the stages of the beta we were talking about just a little while ago. How close are you guys to being finished, would you say?
Oh, we're really close. I mean, 98 of the work is done. But of course, the last 2% of the work that needs to be done, it's pretty noticeable stuff. I mean, there's little tiny things like you can't yet, hit your opponent while he's lying down with a steel chair. You kind of need to be able to do that, right? Mm-hmm. There's a few little graphics that need to be put in. There's a couple move animations that need to be added, but I mean, the core of everything is working. It's a functioning piece of software that we kind of say with a wink, because of course we want it to be bigger and better and more fun. But right now, it really works. You can beat the crap out of somebody, raise some missions, grab the weapons and all that fun stuff. So it's a major accomplishment what we have done. And before the end of this month, we are going to let our supporters who have pledged to us and pre-ordered, we're going to let them get their hands on this and take it for a run. And it's going to be fun because it is kind of ugly right now, and there is parts of it that aren't fun yet. Mm-hmm. So most times, wrestling gamers don't get their hands on a game until it's considered, perfectly finished. And it's going to be kind of fun to see what does it look like when a wrestling game is almost done and still needs work. And they're going to be able to give us feedback and tell us, this thing that doesn't work, we really, really want you guys to work on this. Please do. This other thing, not so important. Don't spend so much time on it. So it's going to be great to get some feedback on where people want us to put our energy.
Now, see, a lot of people don't know. Yeah, there's WWE, SmackDown. There's all these other video games out there that have the creation suites. But Dave is actually doing something different. Dave is actually going out of his way. He's going to give us a creation suite. He's going to give us an open world PC wrestling game, pretty much. I mean, you're going to give us the option. Let's talk about the creation suite. I'm going to leave it to you, buddy.
Well, I mean, we are going to try to take advantage of the PC platform as much as possible. So it's not so much just giving people, a creative wrestler tool. We really want to give them as much open access to all the assets in the game as possible. So, I mean, really, when you think of Pro Wrestling X going forward, is it a game? Well, sure, it's a game. But it's almost thinking of it like it's a platform that you have access to really build your own kind of wrestling experience on top of it, if you wish. I mean, for example, you look at some of the bigger wrestling promotions that might never get their own game. There's big wrestling promotions all over. If you're a fan of those, there should be nothing stopping you from ripping our game apart and putting together a game for your favorite wrestling promotion that you can have yourself. It's going to be like having modeling clay, hopefully. And I can't wait to see what kind of stuff people come up with when we give them the tools. I'm hoping that down the road we are going to see really awesome Lucha Libre versions of Pro Wrestling X, hardcore wrestling versions of Pro Wrestling X, deathmatch stuff, women's wrestling versions of the game that the fans create, using the platform we give them. It's going to be really, really cool.
See, another cool thing that Dave is really trying to do here is he's also trying to break a record, guys. He's really trying to have one of the biggest wrestling rosters to any video game.
Yeah, I mean, we thought about it, and this actually didn't occur to us until about halfway through the Kickstarter campaign. We really should have, put some thinking into it here before we launched. But we were kind of thinking to ourselves, this next game, we're going to have to put wrestlers in the game, obviously. We're going to have the creative wrestler tool finished ahead of the actual game itself. There's nothing stopping us from letting our fans play with the creative wrestler tool. And if they create a wrestler, like themselves or whatever, and just hit save, send us the file, that wrestler can be in our game. And we're like, what's the limit? How many of these fans creations can we put in the game? And, theoretically, the limit is almost unlimited. It's as big as someone's hard drive, really in that respect, right? The ultimate goal here is for people to be able to create and trade wrestlers as easily as you create and trade pictures and MP3s, right? So it would be really fun if we get enough fans contributing and we can break the record for the most wrestlers in a wrestling game when it ships. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, it would, man. And lastly, I mean, again, Dave, I wish you the best of luck. We hope that we can get as many funds as we can to try to help Dave out, guys. If you guys listening, man, please take this time right now. Can they go over to your official website right now and donate? There?
Yes. If you just go to ProWrestlingX.com, really simple website address to remember, ProWrestlingX.com, and right on the main page you'll see the link to Kickstarter. Kickstarter is the website we're using to raise funds. It's really popular, really well respected. And if you go there, you'll see our entire list of all the rewards you can get, and just hit pledge now, and you can pledge as little as $1 or as much as you want to help us out. Now, keep in mind too that when you pledge, you don't actually get any money taken away from you. Money is actually only charged to you if we raise our full $75,000, which it's going to take a miracle to get there today. But I just want people to know that, the money they pledge to us doesn't even get taken away from them until we raise our funding goal. And if we don't raise our funding goal, they don't see a dime leave their credit card. So it's pretty safe.
All right, guys, and for those, again, if you guys want to donate, please, we got the link up on our up on the screen right now. It's prowrestlingx.com. Go on over. He has a link to Kickstarter, and please go and donate right now, guys. It's really, really important. If you guys are fans of video games, Dave is doing something really, really big, guys, and he needs your support. And he definitely has our show behind him. And Dave, we're gonna see you again pretty soon, buddy. You're gonna come back here in January and give us an update, and hopefully you got some great news for us, buddy.
Absolutely, man. I want to thank you so much for your help, and I want to thank you for helping us reach new fans. And again, the biggest thank you goes to all of our fans who supported us for this long and who pledged to us during the Kickstarter and will continue to support us going forward. We can't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. You're amazing. You're awesome. I will stop babbling now. Thank you very much.
All right, Dave. We'll see you, buddy. Again, guys, we're going to say it for the whole night long, but it got to 9 o'clock Eastern time to do it.
You betcha.
All right, guys, we're going to keep pushing this, Dave. I'm not going to stop, buddy. I promise you. We're going to try our best.
Rock and roll, man. Thanks a lot, and we will talk to you soon.
All right.